All right, so this is the video for my impromptu speeches. I got my audience right here. It should be good. And I'm going to choose my 3 topics out of this bucket right here that has all the slips in them. So let's get started. The first one, we've got potatoes. So let's start the minute. Sit down right there. Like it's been 50 seconds. Okay. That's fine. Dang, it's really not a lot of time.
All right, that's a minute.
Okay. All right. So, start it now. So, potatoes are a very, very great vegetable or starch or whatever they are. And I actually eat potatoes a very large amount. I eat a lot of potatoes. So the first thing I'm going to talk about potatoes is their versatility. Potatoes can come in all different types of styles. You can have baked potatoes, you can have fries, you can have chopped up roasted potatoes, and you can even do potato soup. Now, one of the greatest things about potatoes, in my opinion, is that is a baked potato. A baked potato is my personal favorite way to eat potatoes, and the way that I do the baked potatoes is I'll do a baked potato and then put a lot of cheese, some butter, and some salt on it, and it's really, really good tasting. And since we've already talked about the versatility of potatoes and the strongest way to eat them, the baked potato, I'd also like to state that potatoes are very, very calorically insignificant. So potatoes actually, a large potato has only about 200 calories, and that's another great thing about potatoes. And so since we've covered how potatoes are very versatile, the strongest way to eat potatoes, the baked potato, and how calorically insignificant they are, that's all I have to say about potatoes. Okay, that's it for the first one. And then for the second one, we've got homeschooling. So it's time.
$50.
Pretty much good.
Okay, 1 minute.
All right. So the next topic is homeschooling. Homeschooling is a pretty interesting topic for me. One interesting thing is that we actually have neighbors in this house, a couple of houses down the road, that actually are homeschooled. So I actually do have a lot of personal experience with homeschooling. And what I'd like to talk about is the advantages and disadvantages of homeschooling. So first of all, for advantages, homeschooling is very flexible. So schedule-wise, it allows you to have a lot of flexibility there. you could have something at, maybe 10 a.m. on a Tuesday if you're homeschooled. Whereas if you're not homeschooled, then, it's going to be an issue. You're going to have to deal with getting out of school and such. And it also has flexibility on how fast you would like to go through school. So if you are like, let's say, a gifted student, then you can move through school faster with homeschooling. And that's really great because it allows students to not be bored in class, and maybe, they're being more challenged. And then the last advantage that I have is that as a parent, you can sort of control for what your child is learning, which is very important as well. And then as for the disadvantages, the biggest disadvantage is the lack of social life. That sounds a little bit harsh, but it is a lot tougher to have to make friends and be like adept socially when you are homeschooled. And so since I've discussed the advantages and disadvantages of homeschooling, I'd like to end on the final point that it is a very viable option and is often overlooked or looked down at. And I think that it is actually a decent way to go through the learning experience. All right. And then third topic. All right, so the third topic is San Diego. Start.
One minute.
Boom. All right, so the third topic, San Diego. About a week ago, last weekend actually, I went to a concert in San Diego. I saw the rapper Jid. I really doubt that you know who he is. However, it did clue me in as to a couple of things that are interesting about San Diego, and I'd like to kind of generalize it onto cities as a broader topic. So the thing about cities is that they have a lot of strong points and weak points. The first thing that I'd like to talk about is the advantages of cities, and that is that they could be kind of like a cultural cesspool. I don't think cesspool is quite the right word because it kind of has like a negative connotation, but you have like a melting pot of different cultures, and you can see different like vibrant expressions of culture, and it really does. And that is kind of what I experienced. I went to a concert, I saw a lot of different people, and there's different stylistic expressions there, and so that's a very strong point of cities. But there is a lot of negatives. One of the first ones that I like to talk about is kind of the safety issue. So cities are often a little bit unsafe. You're not super comfortable going out at night. There might be like a homeless person here and there that could make you uncomfortable. And so those are kind of the advantages and then the disadvantages of cities. And then I used the example of my concert in San Diego really showed me both of those sides of the coin. All right, that's all I have to say.
All right.
Good job.
Thank you for listening.